Hello, this is Rohit and we will be solving the problem interior design. Its difficulty level is cakewalk and it requires observation. It appeared in July Lunchtime 2022. Chef decided to redecorate his house and now needs to decide between two styles of interior design. So for the first style, tiling the floor will cost x1 rupees and painting all the walls will cost y1 rupees. And for the second style, tiling the floor will cost x2 rupees and painting all the walls will cost y2 rupees. Chef will choose whichever style has the lower total cost. So our task is to find out how much chef will pay for his interior design. For the input, the first line will contain a single integer t, which is the number of test cases. And then for each test case, we will have 4 space separated integers x1, y1, x2, y2 as described in the statement. And for output, for each test case, we will print a single integer, which is the amount chef will pay for interior design. Now let's have a look at the sample test cases. For the first test case, x1 is 10, y1 is 20. x1 is the cost of tiling the floor if we use the first design. y1 is the cost of painting the walls if we use the first tile. And similarly, x2 is 9 and y2 is 25. So let's calculate the total cost of decorating the house if we use the first tile. So the cost would be nothing but x1 plus y1. Cost 1 is the cost of decorating the house if we use the first tile. So this is nothing but 10 plus 20, which is 30. And similarly we can calculate cost 2, which is the cost if we decide to use the second style. So it would be x2 plus y2. And we are just going to consider y2 because y2 is the cost of painting all the walls and not the cost of painting one wall. So cost 2 would be x2 plus y2, which is 9 plus 25, which is 34. So chef will always choose the style which has the lower cost. So in this case, style 1 has lower cost as compared to the second style. So the answer is 30. For the second case, x1 is 10, y1 is 20, x2 is 9 and y2 is 20. So we'll calculate both the costs again. So cost 1 would be x1 plus y1 if we use the first style, which is 10 plus 20, which is 30. And cost 2 would be x2 plus y2, which is 9 plus 20, which is 29. So chef will choose the style of designing which has a lower cost, and in this case the second style of designing has a lower cost, hence the answer in this case would be 29. For the third case, x1 is 10, y1 is 20, x2 is 20 and y2 is 10. So cost 1 will be again x1 plus y1, which is 10 plus 20, which is 30, and cost 2 would be x2 plus y2, which is 20 plus 10, which is equal to 30. And in this case, as both the costs are equal, so it doesn't matter, we can use either of the style of designing, and hence the answer in this case would be 30. Now coming to the fourth and the final case, x1 is 100, y1 is 43, x2 is 85 and y2 is 61. So we'll compute both the costs. Cost 1 is x1 plus y1, which is 100 plus 43, which would be 143, and cost 2 would be x2 plus y2, which is 85 plus 61, which is 146. So as cost 1 is less than cost 2, chef will prefer the first style of designing, and hence the answer will be cost 1, which is 143. Now let's have a look at the algorithm and also write its pseudocode. So first we have our integer t, which is the number of test cases, and then we run a loop of length t because there are t number of test cases. For each test case we have 4 space separated integers x1, y1, x2, y2, which are as described in the statement. We then calculate cost 1 and cost 2. Cost 1 is the cost if we decide to use the first style of designing, and cost 2 is the cost if we decide to use the second style of designing. And then our answer would be the cost which has a lesser value. So our answer would be nothing but minimum of cost 1, comma cost 2. So this is the final answer, and then we just print our answer. And we can notice that we just have to print the minimum cost from both the cost 1 and cost 2, and we don't have to print which style of designing we are choosing. So we just print the answer and that's it. If you are still unable to understand the problem or not able to get the correct answer to your code, then don't worry, you can ask your doubt to our doubt solvers. So what you have to do is you have to go to the practice problem section and then search for the problem which you are having difficulty in. Let's say the problem code of that problem is DNA storage. So you search for the problem, go to the problem, and then under the ask a doubt tab, you can go and ask your doubts and your doubts would be cleared instantly. Now let's have a look at its implementation. So we first have t, which is the number of test cases. Then for each test case we have 4 space separated integers. We take the input and then we just calculate a final answer, which is minimum of cost 1 and cost 2. So I haven't calculated cost 1 and cost 2 separately, and I've just passed the values in this minimum function. So x1 plus y1 is cost 1 and x2 plus y2 is cost 2, and we just have to print the minimum of the two costs. The time complexity in this case would be constant because we are just performing constant time operations.